One, two, three, action!
Hello there. You might be looking at this front slide and think our physics project is on mountains and the physics behind mountains or their creation, but no.
Yeah, it looks like a mountain to
We're,
me.
it's actually a wave.
Wait, really?
Not just any wave though. It's a rogue wave.
Oh my goodness.
And rogue waves are often confused accidentally as tsunamis, right? But there are some stark differences between rogue waves and tsunamis. Tsunamis have much more concrete understanding of how they're formed, right? We know they're formed through earthquakes or volcanic or landslides, some sort of movement in the earth that causes the waves to come into some series of finite waves that hit the
They're both big
shore, basically.
waves. What's the difference?
Exactly. But rogue waves, we don't know how they're formed. They're sudden. They're out of nowhere, right? We're not. We have some guesses, but um, we didn't even know they existed till not too long ago. And they're very short lived and they happen very fast.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean the dropper wave? Like before then, before 1995, like rogue waves, they were a myth, a legend. But the Dropner wave on New Year's Day, it was detected by a gas pipeline support complex. Like it proved that there could be a spontaneous, out of nowhere, huge wave not related to a tsunami. Uh, and that's where amplitude comes in. Waves like lights and sounds. Amplitude, if it's bigger or I mean higher, like it's louder sounds or brighter light. For waves, the visual height of that water wave is determined by how high its amplitude is. Pretty cool, right? Superposition. So, what is superposition? Well, waves, they could combine into each other. They add together. When two water waves go into each other, they don't block, they don't change, they overlap. And if you see these little crests and troughs, these drops and ups, if the drops and ups perfectly align, they combine, converge into a bigger wave, higher amplitude. Otherwise, if they're like opposite, like an up faces a down, it cancels out. It becomes less amplitude, a shorter wave, or like almost no wave at all. And that's where interference comes into play. As I said before, two uppy crests meet, makes a bigger crest, constructive interference, a bigger wave. And as I also said before, destructive is when they cancel out, becomes shorter, almost no wave, less wave. And constructive interference is where that comes into play. Ocean surfaces contain hundreds, if not thousands, of waves traveling in different directions, different frequencies, different amplitudes, even. Most of the time, when these go into each other, superposition, these additions create normal sized waves. But occasionally, these waves and their crests can align by chance at the same time, multiple, combining a temporary spike in their height, higher amplitude, a big monster rogue wave. But is that really
Wait,
true? But wait,
that's
that's not
not
all.
all. There's something fishy happening here. When waves add up linearly, we might get some waves that are, two or three times higher than the average waves. But that's not what we're seeing with rogue waves. We're seeing ginormous sizes, as is one that came off the coast of Britain being 58 feet tall. This is simply not just happening through basic superposition. There seems to be something else at play, and maybe something sort of modular instability
Whoa.
could be a cause for it. So when a set of longer ocean waves are traveling together, and it's very key that they're longer ocean waves, a wave that might be a little taller, have a little more amplitude to it, begins to seep energy from all of its surrounding waves, and it builds up rapidly, right? And it builds up so rapidly, and there's multiple waves with it that it could actually possibly explain why the rogue waves are two or three times higher, right? And as we see here, that the wavelength of rogue waves are 350 to 600 meters, something sometimes even being a kilometer long, and that would kind of fit with modular instability. And another main requirement for it to be for rogue waves or modular instability to happen is there be deeper waters, and this is where we usually see them.
That's crazy. But that was amazing. My name is Dylan.
My name is Fisher Singh, and thank you for watching.